G'day champion, how you doing? Welcome back to Murphy's Magic. That's right baby, it is the start of the weekend, and what better way to kick off your weekend than with a little bit of Michael Shaw sprinkled in for tasty goodness. But before we get into today's episode, I do want to tell you about this week's giveaway. If you want a chance to win the Mentalism / Magic Bundle, stick around till later on in this episode, and I'll show you how to enter that very competition. Now let's get into today's tutorial. This again is from the legendary Michael Shaw, aka the Hobbyist, and I'm 100% sure you've seen him on our YouTube already with these absolutely beautiful pieces of magic. And if you want to see more on Michael Shaw and show him some love, check out his links in the description below. Now enough of me flapping my gums, let's jump over to Michael right now, where he's going to teach you a beautiful version of his Out to Lunch. Michael, you cutie patootie, over to you. Oh, look at these absolute champions. You guys are the best. It's true, I've Googled it.
In today's video, we're covering a trick that starts like a mentalism trick. The audience just thinks that you're going to read their mind, that you're going to look and peer into their thoughts and guess the drawing that they made. But this mentalism trick turns into a magic trick at the end when they realize that actually their drawing has vanished from their card as you've drawn it onto your card. I think if you play this right, you can get some really spooky or ethereal feelings out of your audience. And that's what I love about tricks like this. So let's get into it. I hope you enjoy this tutorial. I'm going to share with you a trick that I've made sure I always perform, or at least have on me ready to perform anytime I go out as an EDC. I'm going to talk through the secret as well as the pros and cons and kind of my experience with it. But I encourage you to check it out, give it a shot, and see how it goes for you, because I think there is some psychology to this. But this trick uses the out to lunch principle. Now, the out to lunch principle is one in which you have a stack of business cards or something like that, and you have a band going across them. And the secret here is that you have a half card hiding in plain sight right here. So you can do that with a thick rubber band, or there's many magic wallets on the market. And this isn't exposing anything in particular about any magic wallet. It's just to show you in the marketing, you'll see a magic wallet will be advertised as, compatible with Out to Lunch or has an Out to Lunch feature. That's all it's saying, is that it has a band that's kind of set up. It sets you up for success to be able to integrate business cards and the Out to Lunch principle in your wallet, which is very convenient. So if you don't have a magic wallet from the market right now, that's okay. Get a thick rubber band, right? And then in my case, I like to just be lazy and fold it. That even helps me in this wallet that I'm using in particular, but you don't have to do that. You can just cut it and kind of use it to your liking. And with this wallet, I kind of refresh this every now and then, just because it is an EDC. I get kind of these darker markings and maybe some discrepancies you'll see. So when I'm about to perform, I kind of like to refresh the cards here. See, I get kind of fresher cards out, and then I just fold it to my liking and I set it up once again. So the normal Out to Lunch idea has been used in many ways, in that you could put a prediction under here and then make it seem to appear after you have the spectator sign this side. People have used Out to Lunch to maybe write one thing here and then have it seem to transform. Once again, they can sign this side. In all cases, spectator signing this side, something is hidden under here and it either appears or transforms, but people have used it for all sorts of other applications as well. One of those is a peak, and Craig Petty actually talked about that in one of his YouTube videos, just kind of laying out a bunch of ideas for Out to Lunch. So shout out to him. And I'm sure others have taken advantage of that as well. But what you're left with, if you have the spectator sign over here and then have them draw or write something here, if you use this as a peak only, what you are left with is a dirty object. And so the way that you would have to fix that, like once again in Craig Petty's YouTube video talking about this, he recommended sort of falsely confirming it after, like, maybe you've had it folded up and then you say like, oh, okay, it was a square. Let me show you my prediction. And then after you've gotten your peak and made that prediction, you show that it was a square. But then you have to rip this up or put it in your pocket and kind of move on. They cannot look back at this. So what if we took this disadvantage though and made it a feature? So you're probably putting the dots together now that you know this secret. So with that context in place from the top now, I want you to imagine you're gonna have them sign, you can see them do that, and then you're gonna hold this away from yourself. And as you hold it away from yourself and you're looking away, you explain to them to draw a simple shape there. That's just the way I like to do it, but you can, depending on how comfortable you are, you can do other things that they can write down.
Now, I'm so sorry, Michael. I need to interrupt for just a tiny wee second because I promised this absolute cutie patootie a giveaway. But before we get into today's episode's giveaway, we need to find out who won last episode's bundle. So who will it be this week? Hey, congratulations, champion. You're on the ball with these graphics today. You get a pay rise. Congratulations, champion. You're the winner of last episode's bundle. So if you could DM me on any of Murphy's socials, I'll get that prize straight out to you. Now look, I did promise you a giveaway. I did promise you a mentalism/magic bundle. So if you want to win this bundle, all you need to do is comment in the comment section below, what would you write on the business card if you were the spectator? Would you draw a triangle? Would you write mum? Would you write Hillary Duff? What would you do? Let me know in the comment section below. That on next episode of Saturday Sorcery, I'll draw a name out at random and you'll be announced on that episode. So, good luck. Now, champion, are you enjoying what you're watching right now? Because I have good news for you. In the Saturday Sorcery playlist, we have over 100 episodes, which means over 100 free tutorials. So make sure you go check out that playlist. There'll be a link in the description below. Go treat yourself to all that free magic. Because you deserve it.
And do other things that they can write down. They're going to do so, and then you're going to hold this down and you're going to place the card in their hand, which of course is going to leave the object that they drew in your wallet, and this is going to be blank. So once again, this is happening without them seeing, but you're going to pull this card out, place it in their hand, they can put their other hand on top, whatever you want. And so now when I come back to get the peek, what I'm going to say is I'm going to be like a mental reporter, right? So for me, I have this vertical folding wallet that kind of paints the picture in their head of like, oh, he's kind of like using his steno pad. And I do this with the pen. I say, I'm going to be like a mental reporter, right? I'm going to try to look into your thoughts and read your mind, right? And so that allows me to get the peek very openly. I just bring the wallet back and I talk about this as though it's my steno pad. I talk about being like a journalist, like I'm going to try to get to the facts, or a detective. You could go that way too. Like I'm a detective. I'm going to try to read your thoughts and kind of get to the bottom of it. That allows me to very quickly and easily get a peek. And then I'm going to take a separate card out and put this away. So I was inspired to think of this moment. Shout out to another creator, Javier Fuenmayer, in one of his free YouTube videos, just talking about, hey, the idea of drawing duplications and how a drawing duplication, depending on your method, could actually be the like transference of the ink. And so he was talking about that with a particular app, but this method kind of goes with that presentation really well, right? Is that we're gonna go from this being a drawing duplication idea of I've matched to the actual transference of the ink or the thought, right? And so to kind of paint that picture, I like to, once again, kind of taking from another presentational note, do kind of what the heartbeat trick did from Illusionist. Okay, so this isn't revealing that trick at all, but you've probably seen it performed. He kind of points up their arm, down their other hand, and goes over here. And so if you're able to do something physical to trace, like as though the ink is going from one place to the other, and then even invite them by actually saying in your patter, I want you to imagine that drawing transferring over to my hand and onto my pen. And so you're not making it weird, you're just saying imagine, right? You just want them to imagine that, but that's going to paint the picture for later. So you already know it's a square, and maybe you do it a little dramatically, right? Like you slowly draw it here. If you want to be even more dramatic, you can have them hold your hand or wrist so that you really paint the picture of transferring happening. But regardless, you're going to do that. Ask them, was that your drawing? And they're going to get the hit. And then you get this great moment where you get to say, okay, now here's the crazy thing. Imagination is a very powerful thing. We all just now imagined that ink moving and somehow going through my hand and duplicating that drawing onto the page. So it makes me wonder, Well, and don't say exactly what has happened. Just invite them. Okay, now show us your drawing. And they're going to turn it over, of course, and that's going to be gone. And that is the idea, right? Is to take a disadvantage and turn it into an advantage. Take an obstacle and turn it into an opportunity. So a couple more performance notes. I've placed this drawing in the middle just so we don't communicate too much the idea of left, right, or segmentation to kind of get us away from the out to lunch principle. I have performed this and gotten wonderful reactions, and I've also had someone who, they didn't call me out necessarily, but I could see them being dubious, and then even later they said, I think I might know how you did it. And so as I've kind of deconstructed the difference between both of those performances, in the case where it really, really crushed and really, really killed, first of all, it wasn't a standalone. I only had a moment with this other person that it didn't go so well for, and I used it on its own. I think not as a standalone, you've kind of maybe warmed them up a little bit with some other tricks and openers is going to be helpful. But then on top of that, really making the surprise moment a surprise and painting each moment with your words the way I've described is going to be helpful. This little subtlety of not putting it on one side or the other is going to be really helpful. And then the other thing is I had a slightly larger group with my better reaction. And in fact, I even, in those casual environments, you have kind of your main person you're interacting with, and then you have people coming in and out. And so people might have missed the dirty work, but they just see the point of what happened. And when they react, it kind of elevates everyone around them. And then the other thing is when this went really well, I didn't rush through those kind of dramatizing moments of really painting the picture of it going up and down their arm and through my hand. And I made it even, more amazing seeming by, instead of just having this like face down in their hands, I actually invited them to place it in their pocket. And I think to them, it left their hands more free to interact. And so it was helpful in that way. But I also think it kind of made it seem more impossible. So those are just some things to think about. But there you go. I hope that's a new way to use out to lunch that maybe you haven't thought of and that you can enjoy. And don't knock it till you try it. Try it out. I keep it with me and I'm always ready to do it. And I'm excited to do it to people because I think it creates a fresh twist on this principle and it makes a mind reading trick turn into a magic trick, which I always love. But that's all for me. Thanks, guys.
Oh, look at these absolute champions. You guys are the best. It's true. I've Googled it. Now, thank you so much, Michael. I really do appreciate it. And my best friend, if you love Michael's work and you want to see more of his tutorials, make sure you check out our Saturday Sorcery playlist where we have a bunch of Michael Shaw tutorials, or make sure you check out Michael's YouTube. I'll have it linked in the description below. Now, if you do have absolutely any questions, and I mean any questions at all, make sure you throw them down in the comment section below. But use the hashtag #QuestionTime so I can find them amongst all the competition entries. Now, my best friend, Cutie Patootie, absolute legend and complete G, get out of here. Go enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you on our Discord right now. We're having jams, trivia, games, hangouts, and even more. Or I'll see you on Tuesday for a special episode of Stumped. We're doing a live interview on the Savant deck. Or I'll see you on Wednesday for another episode of What's New This Week. Now take care, my friend. See you later. Oh, bye for now. Whoa, hey, whoa, what's that? Oh, you should definitely check out that. Oh, there's so much good magic in there. You won't regret it. Hey, whoa, hey, look at this bad boy. You should definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe, then watch that. Oh, it's a good day to treat yourself.